Hi, I'm Molly with West Virginia University Extension Service Family Nutrition Program, and today we're going to make cranberry pumpkin muffins. Cranberries are the food of the month for November, and today's recipe uses fresh or frozen cranberries. If you choose to use fresh cranberries, be sure to rinse them under running water prior to chopping them for the recipe. It's also always a good idea to wash your hands and clean your cooking surface prior to cooking. I've just done that, so I'm ready to get started. Our ingredients for today's recipe include 2 cups of flour, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon salt, a 1/2 teaspoon cinnamon, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of allspice. And then we also have some wet ingredients: 2 eggs, 1/3 of a cup of vegetable or canola oil, and 3/4 of a cup of canned pumpkin. And be sure your can of pumpkin says 100% pure pumpkin. And then we also have our 2 cups of chopped cranberries. Mine are frozen. Now I'm ready to get started. Our first step in putting our muffins together is to sift all of our dry ingredients into a large mixing bowl. So I've got my flour, just going to dump that in, and my sugar, my baking powder, salt, cinnamon, and allspice. And now I'm just going to sift this together so everything gets evenly distributed through the dry ingredients. There's different sifters you may have. There's one I used to have that you squeezed the handle to sift things. And this is like a colander, but just with much smaller holes. So once everything is sifted together, we're going to set the dry ingredients to the side and work on our wet ingredients. So we've got 2 large eggs, 1/3 cup of vegetable or canola oil. Definitely want to use a lighter tasting oil. And then we've got our canned 100% pure pumpkin. And I'm just putting all this in a smaller mixing bowl. And I'm going to whisk all this together. Once the wet ingredients are blended, we're going to add the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients and mix that up until it's moistened. But it is important to do it separately so that it doesn't get over mixed. That can lead to tough muffins that aren't as light and fluffy. So make sure that egg is all evenly distributed. And then we're going to mix the two together. Now I'm going to add my wet ingredients to my dry ingredients. And mix this up just until everything is incorporated. And once it's mixed, we're going to fold in our cranberries. You don't want to break them up too much. And as I mentioned, I am using frozen cranberries. So I've let them fall a little bit. But they're in my Ziploc bag from being in the freezer. And I'm going to incorporate the cranberries. Smells so good. Everything is mixed in. And now I'm ready to fill my muffin tin. Now, I did preheat my oven to 400 degrees before we started, and I lined my muffin tin with paper liners. I find that this makes it easy for the muffins to just be grab and go, and then you don't have to spray or grease each muffin area. And I also got out my little mini ice cream scoop because that will make all of my muffins the same size. So this is a great tool to use when scooping out muffins or ice cream. I've just finished scooping all of my cranberry pumpkin batter into my lined muffin tins, and they look and smell delicious. Now I'm going to put them in my preheated 400 degree oven for 15 to 30 minutes. Just keep an eye on them because everybody's oven may cook differently. Mine tends to run a little hot. So as soon as a toothpick or a fork goes into a muffin and comes out clean, then you know that it's ready. I just took my muffins out of the oven and look how beautiful they are. They got tall and just smell delicious. And I'm going to test our biggest one. Stick a toothpick in it, pull it out, and see that there's no crumbs on the toothpick. So I'm going to let these cool now for a little bit before I try them. I set my muffins out on a cooling rack and snuck one onto a plate to try. Fresh and hot out of the oven. How delicious. I taste the allspice and the cinnamon, plus the sweet little burst of our cranberry that's in there. This is a great snack to grab for breakfast, have after dinner, or during the day. You could add nuts if you'd like. It is delicious. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and you give it a try and enjoy cranberries as our food of the month for the month of November. Thanks so much.